You know, it's funny, I say that I'm not worried, but I probably should be because we are fighting a god. No, we are legitimately going head to head with a god for some reason. We must have pissed it off. What did we do wrong? Because clearly, shouldnt isn't vouching for us for a reason. So clearly, we're in the wrong here. If you're telling me that shouldnt has recognized humanity as absolute garbage and it's not worth saving, then honestly, we deserve it. And it's gonna be a very sad day. Hey yo, what's going on though? Soul here and welcome back to my story mode. So at this point in time, Pokemon Legends Arceus is just a couple of days away and I still have a little bit to say about it. And clearly, as stated in the title, I'm not all that worried about Pokemon Legends. And I'm sure that a couple of you are asking, how can you possibly not be worried about this game? Have you seen any of the leaks? Yes, unfortunately, I have seen a good couple of the leaks, involuntarily of course, because Twitter is absolutely ruthless. Thankfully, all I really saw were a couple of designs. Other than that, I've mostly avoided the story spoilers. Even with the tidbit that I have seen, quite frankly, I still don't believe that there's really all that much to worry about. For this video in particular, there's two perspectives I need you guys to consider. Perspective 1 is somebody that didn't bust into their Switch and play the game already. I'm not exactly sure who or how many of you are watching this video right now, but I'm sure that there is a good chunk of you that have already seen everything regarding leaks or have already broken into your Switch and played through the entirety of the game within the last 2 days or so, in which case, okay, that's fine, do you. Simply put, I'm just asking you guys to be mindful and respectful when it comes to people like me that have avoided all leaks and didn't bust into the Switch already to play the game. The second perspective is as a Pokemon video game fan. Yes, as a general video game, I'm sure that it can have its fair share of issues. However, when you're talking about it as a Pokemon video game, it kind of makes a world of difference. So no, I'm not going into this with blind optimism. I think it is completely valid to have criticisms before and after this game's release. However, after this upcoming video here, you'll probably come to understand just a little bit as to why, even with the issues that I do have regarding the game, that overall, we could be in a much worse situation. Whether you agree or disagree, let's kick back, relax, grab a Coke, and let's talk about why I'm not all that worried about the turnout for Pokemon Legends Arceus. So first off, I'm gonna come out the gate sprinting right now and say that honestly, I don't believe that it can be any worse than the remakes. For those of you that haven't seen my review and haven't heard any of my thoughts regarding the remakes, here's the rundown. I don't hate the games by any means. I think that as remakes, they're okay. They're fine, and they're very good for people that have never played the originals before. They get a lot of quality of life updates and things that they've never seen before, like a new story in a new region. That's totally fine. However, for longtime Pokemon fans that have overplayed Pokemon Diamond and Pearl like I have, it's stale already. Yes, the quality of life updates are very nice. Yes, it was very good to be able to get around the region with a lot less hassle because of the quality of life. It was great. However, simply put, it just did not have much to offer. In reality, looking back on it, even if it did start to include all of the things that it was missing regarding the platinum content and everything else that it had from the originals that was taken out for whatever reason, in reality, it still wouldn't be that much. The fact that we know what was missing that would have made the game even better already screams volumes. But the long and short of it is, we're already missing that older content and it's twice as stale as it could have been. And when you pin that against Pokemon Legends, it's kind of a no-brainer. On the opposing side of things, Pokemon Legends is offering us all new content, a region that we know almost nothing about, these new Pokemon forms that we know absolutely nothing about, this big open world that we get to explore and learn about with the new mechanics that have never been heard of in a mainline Pokemon game before. And frankly, one of the biggest pieces to me is the fact that they're actually touching up on history of Pokemon. This is probably one of the few times in Pokemon history where we didn't go into the game pretty much knowing exactly how it was going to play out. So if we're really putting things on a scale here, it's already really heavily tipped in Pokemon Legends' favor, and we already know that, so no biggie diggy. Now, one thing that worried a lot of people when they first brought the topic up was the fact that this game isn't really going to have all that much to offer in terms of online content. Now, a lot of people were obviously upset about that because for a Pokemon game, that's kind of unheard of. What's that now? A Pokemon game where we don't get to battle our friends or random people and we can only trade with each other? What kind of sick joke is that, bro? Give me my money back. Whoa, 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 big fella. Let's turn it down a couple notches and actually think about this for a second. Yes, it is very strange that what could be considered a mainline Pokemon game has been shaved down when it comes to the online stuff. However, consider what genre this game is. Based on a lot of the mechanics that we've seen, this isn't your run-of-the-mill Pokemon game. This is an action-adventure RPG. Games of this nature usually tend to be very gameplay and story-oriented. The Kingdom Hearts series, Final Fantasy VII, 15, and Remake, hell, the entirety of the Zelda series. A lot of the games that I mentioned within that genre usually do not have much in terms of online capability. And why? Because they are focusing on the mechanics within the game to make the gameplay itself a good time. So, in this situation, that means that there was genuine sacrifice. With a lot less in terms of online capabilities, that means that they are now able to focus a lot less on balancing and things like that and making sure things run smoothly online and focusing on making the mechanics work within the main story. And that's truly where things matter. As it currently stands right now, logically, I have no idea how they would even implement online battling in this game. Trading in of itself is already a huge question mark for me. How are the NPCs gonna explain that you could just trade with somebody across the world? How does that make sense? So on one hand, I can definitely understand why people would be upset, as this definitely would probably have an effect on the longevity of the game. However, we have yet to experience what this game's going to offer in terms of longevity. We don't know what the replayability is going to look like. It could be way better than we're expecting. We may not even need online battling to appreciate what this game has to offer. As much as I too would love to see how a lot of these newer Pokemon forms fare up in online battles, I'm okay with being patient, waiting for Pokemon Home, and utilizing them in a different game, because why else would they utilize Pokemon Home for Pokemon Legends? We already know that that's coming. Now, the next thing that makes me not worried is this could definitely be the beginning of a possible new series for Pokemon. This is surprisingly not something that we've actually talked about before for whatever reason, and I'm not entirely sure as to why not yet. The idea has been thrown around for quite a while now, and quite frankly, I'm 100% with that. The idea of getting a series of Pokemon games that actually touches up on the history of these different regions would be enticing as hell. We would finally be getting a series of Pokemon games that gives us a little bit more of what we want. Games that focus on the lore and story of these regions that we've come to know for so long. This could be the start of something like that, which is why, even if there are a lot of things that are really rough around the edges regarding the story, gameplay, mechanics, whatever, it's just because it's the beginning. The fact that they're trying something new means that they are willing to take risks and that they are willing to learn what went wrong with the previous games that could be implemented into these new games that can make them better than the previous ones. Which means that we could get a growing and evolving series with these prequels or whatever the hell you want to call them. Now that part is mostly just wishful thinking, however, I think this also could relate to what I'm about to say next. I truly believe that this game could also be what sets the precedence for Generation 9 of Pokemon. We have already seen countless times in the past when Pokemon games would utilize each other to test the waters for newer and bigger and greater mechanics for the series. In this most recent situation, we saw the big open world camera thing go down in Pokemon Sword and Shield for the first time. At the time, Game Freak was clearly very new to that kind of thing, which is why it felt so limited. Not only was the camera free moving, but Pokemon were moving around freely in the overworld, and that was a big mix of things that Pokemon had not really had up to that point. Trying out something like that in a mainline game was a little bit on the risky side, but they still kinda managed to try and make it work. That was clearly somewhat of a foreshadow to what we're getting now with Pokemon Legends. Having free camera movement and an open world pretty much almost no matter where you are completely changes the game. I truly do believe that by making this game somewhat of a prequel, kind of makes it fair game so that they can test out a lot of different things so that when they move into Generation 9, they know what works. While it does feel kinda weird to call a full-fledged $60 Pokemon game a test run for Game Freak, that's kinda what it is. They're testing the waters in a Pokemon game that isn't as crucial to the mainline series. If we, as the general players, like how this game operates mechanic-wise and things like that, they probably wouldn't see a reason as to why not add it to the next generation of Pokemon. So I really do hope that things work out for the better, because honestly, that would just mean this would be a successful test run. And if so, if we get anything similar to Pokemon Legends in Pokemon Generation 9, we have a lot to look forward to. But hey, maybe that's just wishful thinking. So in turn, I really hope that sums up why I don't believe that there's too much to be worried about regarding Pokemon Legends. This game is so new and has so much potential that honestly, I really do consider it worth a look. Because even if this does turn out to be a mid-game, in the grand scheme, it offers up a lot of new things that the previous games simply don't. And that is something I very much appreciate. I think that it's a lot better to test the waters with something unheard of as opposed to making us pay full price for a game that we've played ages ago. This is the game right here that makes Generation 4 of Pokemon worth revisiting. And you know what? That's good enough for me. So to quickly reiterate, it is very possible for this game to suck. I'm not 100% saying that this is going to be the best Pokemon game of all time. Far from it. It could still be a glitchy mess. There could be a lot of things that don't work as much as we would have liked them to. This game could still have its fair share of problems as a regular game and as a Pokemon game. However, because it's trying so many things that's new, I believe that it has the potential to start something better, which is why I'm just so optimistic about Legends. But I think that just about does it from me. I want to hear about what you guys think personally. Do you guys think that Pokemon Legends is going to be an absolutely fire game? Do you think that it's going to be mid and we're going to be okay with it, but in the grand scheme it's not going to be all that great? Or do you think that it's going to just suck and it's going to be worse than any Pokemon game we've ever played? Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I am always down there with you guys. I'm going to hand the mic to you and I'm going to skedaddle the hell up on out of here. I would like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. But with that, I'm gonna get up out. Thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time.